Okay, so yesterday we did the top 9 of all the shoes from 2022 this year, those pairs that dropped this year. Today we're going to do a top 9 of my favorite 9 that I bought this year, so it doesn't have to have dropped this year. So there is going to be a fair amount of overlap into yesterday's video, so see, like, fast forward where you want to. Yeah, let's get into it. So not to waste any time, because yesterday's video was long, we're going to start with Asics brand. Again, the pairs that did overlap, I will go for a bit faster. It's the Joe Light 3 Sneaker Politics, as I mentioned yesterday, queued up in the summer, the spring sun. Also do one shoe to make it a bit faster. If you want a more in-depth overview, check out my video from yesterday. But yeah, just a great shoe, really is my favourite Joe Light 3 of the year. Comes with a load of like attachable and detachable things. Just waiting for the right time, probably spring coming next year, to unds these puppies. Yeah, so always ready. Collab with Politics. You see the P on the back. Yeah, they're just like full of so many little kind of surprises. I would say with sizing, I typically have gone with my like Air Max 1 true to size for the fair few years now. I would say they run a little bit tighter, and if I could go back in time, I would probably get 12.5, which would be going up one size. So that was number 9. Number 8, again, my favorite silhouette of all time, the Jordan 3. Reissue from 2022 this year. OG stuff. Again, this was in my video yesterday, so I will just show this left shoe. I won't go into too much detail. The pair with the OG-ness, that Nike Air on the booty, the rolled back tongue, the slimmed down toe, and the slimmed down elephant print, and the non-black elephant print. I showed in the video yesterday the 2013s, which had that weird, like, maybe if it's not black, it's very, very dark grey, but like a weird kind of darked out elephant print. Actually, I'll see for this video, let me pop up an image here, because I didn't do this in yesterday's one. The original images from either from 88 or from the 88 pair. I think there were some images where I did some split screens with this pair. It just really shows you the difference in the colour. So, third pair, you see the Air Max writing, you see the Korean writing. Again, this is in yesterday's video. One thing I didn't mention, so this is like a Slickies pack. I did change out those laces, so in case anyone's really eagle-eyed and was like, that's not the laces that come with it. I have the greys down here somewhere. They still have the OG laces in them. I just didn't like them. I found they creased up really a lot, so I bought, like, I think it's the cream or the sail or something from Slickies and put those in. I just thought that they just look much more traditional for an MX-1. So again, the Dubray, you've got the exposed tongue, you've got the mini swoosh with the little flower on there. It's just I can't speak highly enough. Cork insole, transparent outsole, translucent with the branding on there. All the materials are dope. Could not speak higher, or more highly, I should say, of them. I want to say with this list, actually, a lot of the pairs that don't overlap are right up top, as you would expect. A 2022 list of the pairs from that year. You're obviously limited with what they've dropped. This list, there's no limitation. This is going to be made up of stuff that's just come from any year, once we get to it. So it stands to reason that those pairs, I'm going back for them, they are going to be really high, because they're for the most part going to be, like, I hate the term, but they're going to be grails, or they're going to be like really sought after. So it might feel like I'm just going through the same thing as yesterday, which I kind of am, but hey ho. What is this? 987. This is 6. This is Concepts. You know, the Woodstock pair, special edition paper. amazing shoe. Told stories about wearing these in Seattle. I was right yesterday. It was August, summer 1969, back in good old days, long before I was born. Amazing swoosh on the inside here. Really like my pair specifically. I also actually bought these from Air Kickness. I'll put their logo up there again so you guys can see. Super trustworthy guys, great prices. When Sean from the no, what's his name? I'll put up the names as well. But yeah, the pair that he sent me the pictures of, this piece here looked like a cloud, and I was like, yeah, that was like the biggest. I'm quite picky when it comes to my stuff, and like I really wanted this pair, but I didn't. I've seen pairs where all the denim is really light, just didn't like them at all. Seen pairs where all the denim's really dark, didn't like them at all. Saw Hard in the Paint, buddy, over here in Texas. I think he's got moved his pair on, but he copped a pair where the denim was just like that, and I was like, okay, I really like the shoe now. Whereas I was a little bit like on the fence about them prior to that. The A's, all of the A's on the sleeve. You know what this is. As was in the video yesterday, it's becoming very repetitive at this point. What I might do, actually, I'll insert an image up here of them on foot. I have tried them on really quickly yesterday. So sizing reference for this, typically in Jordan 3s and 4s, my TTS is a US 12. In my Meunier 3s, I got a US 11.5, so I went down half and they're perfect. In these, I've gone up half. So there's an entire size difference between my Meunier 3s and my Meunier 4s. And these actually feel slightly tighter than my Meunier 3s do, even though they're an entire size bigger. So make of that what you will. I would go up half a size. For sure, I would go up half a size if you haven't pulled the trigger on these just yet. I made reference yesterday to the Travis Scott Purple Friends and Family. I mean, they're not hugely similar side by side. Again, let me just hold this here and pop an image of it up here. They're both purple. That's about where the comparison ends. But I don't know, other than the Canyon Purple that dropped this year, I don't know of any other like almost completely purple shoe. And those Canyons, they sat here in Texas, so I've seen them in hand a fair few times, and I was not a fan at all. Apparently suede can become too buttery or too long. It just looked like someone's like rug that they put down and wiped their feet on. It was just like really knotty, natty kind of long hair. Plus the grey and the spec, it just wasn't good. We'll show again the Nike Air on the booty. That A is just legit, and then the quilted liner on the inside. It's just so good. They're just so good. These are going to get undressed in the spring. Tends to be what I do with most of my like Q4 pickups, or at least late on in the year pickups. I'll kind of sit on them, and then come spring, or the start of spring, there's some nice weather. Go and wear them, get some nice pics and stuff in there. So the Armand Meunier Jordan 3. That is 98765. So now into the last four. The first new pair that you have not seen. 1995. Long time ago now. So this is a pair from Paca, sorry, out on the East Coast, Diadora. The colorway just says Violet Helium, Helium, God knows. I have gone half a size down. In the UK sizing, this is where it gets complex because it's Diadora and they do not like to be simple. In UK sizing, half a size down, so UK 11 is my TTS, this is a UK 10.5. But the UK to US is not an entire size difference. So in Nike, if it's a 12 in the US, it's an 11 in the UK. In Diadora, if it's an 11 in the US, it's a 10.5 in the UK. So there's only a half size difference. So this pair is a US 11, UK 10.5. So if you're in US sizing, I'm down an entire size. They fit perfectly. I've worn these a couple of times. If I can find an image, I will pop it up here of a kind of shot where I've taken it as I've been walking out of the house. 1995, the year the Cuban Links album came out with Raekwon. It's the other collaborator who I do not think is on the box. Yes, Raekwon. Parental advisory sticker with his name on there. So this shoe came out in 2015, 20 years after the album, to celebrate the album. I'm going to pull both sides out because you guys have not seen these yet. So this came out 20 years after the album in 1995, shoe in 2015. As you can see here, the parental advisory again with his name. Made in Italy. This shoe is insanely premium and nice. This has been one of my grails for years. Finally managed to get them from a guy that I've done a fair amount of business with on Instagram. Actually met him because I bought the Kith or the Ronnie Fleig New York Knicks. I bought from him, and then we started chatting, and we've kind of spoken. He gives me early dibs on stuff because we're the same size. So you can see inside here track listings from the album. The reason the shoe is so purple is it's called the purple tape. So the cassette itself was purple, and then the album cover. I'll show the cassette here, album cover here. This shoe is meant to represent obviously the actual tape. They're called the purple tapes. There was also another pair which I have here in this. If you can see that, it might just be slightly out of shot. They came in a purple bag. The Only Built for Cuban Link follow-up in 2020. So another 5 years later, which is designed around the album cover. So as I said, all the track listings are on the insoles. You have 1 and 2 on that booty to represent the two sides of the cassette. The shoe is basically adorned with all these different shades of purple. And then like the Diodora sign is almost like this kind of see-through plastic that kind of almost feels like it could be from a tape thingy. Like a cassette. Just really, really nice suedes all over, and then a really, really exquisitely done mesh netting on the front. I've got the ropes in. They come with black flat and purple flats. I usually go with ropes when they come with shoes. I don't know why, I'm just a sucker for ropes. Yeah, that's it really with them. Silver, metallic kind of silver and purple midsole. This was a shoe, so they only made 200 of these. There is literally 200 in existence. My bet is this US 11 is probably one of 1 to maybe maximum 3 in the country. The shoe is 7 years old. Typically like 10, 11, 12 is a fairly popular size, at least in the Western Hemisphere. So they do make a few more, but if you think 200 pairs across 10 sizes or something, that's going to be 10 each. Let's just say there's 12 or 13 because it's a more popular sizing. Of those 13, how many are still left 7 years later? And of that, how many are in North America? So I would hazard a guess there's not many, but it's just my thoughts. Number 3, that orange AJKO box again. You know what these are as well, you saw them yesterday. I will go through these a bit faster. Every time I open that, I forget the Sandy Bros thing is in there, and every time it falls out. I say every time. I've worn them twice, probably had a gander at them another 5 times, just because they mean so much to me. I'm gonna put in again those 2 images. The initial image that I saw on the internet, which I've then subsequently scribbled on for an Instagram story and now can't get the scribbles off, and my response when I finally got these and was able to create a grid. So yeah, I'll show you, rewatch the video from yesterday if you want that background on it. But yeah, it's just an amazing shoe. Couldn't be happier with the materials and the shape. Yeah, they're just really, really good, really, really well made. And I think most people's, I would say universally acclaimed shoe of the year for 2022. Pretty difficult to beat Chicago. I think the Wet Cement 3 Reimagined that's coming out 2023. Next year it's probably going to also be, if not one, like in the top 3 of most people's list. Unless you're talking about guys who really don't like Jordans, obviously they're not going to care. But for a lot of us, they are. Number 2. Asics. Back at it. So 2 pairs of Asics. 2 pairs of Asics on this list. Yeah. GTS US 12. Don't know what I can say other than use the word, the hated word, grail. Did not come into 2022 expecting to end the year owning these puppies. This is the Ronnie Feig Flamingo, Ronnie Feig / Kith Flamingo. Let me see on the box if there's any Kith. There generally tends to not be Kith branding with a lot of these pairs, which is a little bit odd. Yeah, the insole just says Asics. There isn't even any Kith branding. Like sometimes it comes down here on the split tongue. There isn't even any of that. It's just like it's just such a good colorway. The material is also really nice. So there's the ropes again, as I mentioned earlier. I love ropes. It comes with flat pinks as well, like flamingo pink, which I think also looks really good. And I have actually worn them, I think, with both. I'll pop up an image here. Again, the last time I wore these, I want to say there's a theme here, but I fitted them with Fear of God Essentials sweatpants, which I love to wear with the runners. I actually have the iron pair on right now. Yeah, they're just amazing. I never ever thought I would own these. I'm going to say the same thing when it comes to the second, to number 1 pair. Did not enter this year thinking I would own either this pair or the pair that's still sat under the table. Yeah, flamingo, meant to represent, I think, the colours, like it's a part of the flamingo is this kind of like, I don't even know how to describe this. It's almost like a nutty woody brown, and maybe a nut more nutty than woody would be much darker. And then the flamingo pink. I did read up on it as ever with Kith and Ronnie. The net mesh on the front is to die for. Really, really good. So as I say, true to size as well on that. And then the winner. Again, I mentioned yesterday with the Manières and the Concept Heavy could have gone either way. I feel like 1 and 2 this year in this video could have also gone either way. I just feel like what edged it out, they're both, to me, grails. Although grail for this shoe, because it's from 2020, is a bit of a stretch. For a 2013 pair, a bit more so. I think like the value of these, and therefore my thoughts about ever owning them, was at 0. Once I took L's in 2020, I was like, it's never going to happen. But my number 1, you see the cheddar, or the Emmental cheese holes in the box. You probably know what this is. So I went down half. So this is a men's 11.5. Almost all of my Jordan 4s are a 12. Actually, some of them, I do have a few actually 11.5. My Cool Greys and my Breads are both 11.5. My Fear 4s are also 11.5. And pretty much everything else is a 12, apart from my Manières, it's a 12.5. So I guess I own 3 pairs of 11.5s. I will stop dallying. You know what pair this is if you're a big Off-White fan, just because of this. So probably one of the most expensive and hardest to come by Off-Whites, the Jordan 4 Women's Sale. Let me get both of them out because there is a bunch of bits and bobs to go through. First off, the paper. Super, super nice little touch there. Again, we never buy a shoe for the paper, but when it comes with special stuff that you've never really seen and makes that particular pair much more unique, it's great. I mentioned yesterday with the Calates shoelaces, they come branded. This is what I was referring to with Off-White. So just the special features on them. You have the typical Off-White like Beaverton piece on the inside under the mesh, which does keep it so much more discreet. The air, I'll just show both shoes. The air, the typical air on here and the shoelaces. You have a, let me get this right. So we have white lace spares, mint, which I probably am going to use at some point, and then black. I do not like the black in these. I really don't like the black in these. I've seen quite a few people wear that and it's not good. In my opinion, it's not good. I do have a pair of Kith, the Jordan mesh shorts in this color, almost identical to this color, and I also have a pair almost identical to, just looking past, to this color. I've fitted these with both, if I can find the images. I take so many pictures on my phone, so sometimes like editing these videos I have to scroll back for ages. If I can find either one or the other of those two images, I'll pop them up on screen. But yeah, they're just really nice. Nike Air on the back, translucent back tab, half of the cut out. Yeah, as you can see, heavily worn. The story with these is that I managed to get these via a trade block trade. I had the Fragment Travis Scott lows. Not a huge Air Max. I'm not a huge Jordan 1 low fan. Probably have, I don't know how many Jordan 1s, but they're all highs. I got them mainly with trade bait in mind. Yeah, and traded them for these. These were very mildly used, maybe worn once or twice, almost perfect condition. Most of that wear you could just see on the bottom there is from me. And yeah, mine were DS. So even though these typically DS for DS would be about maybe $1,000 more, we were able to get that deal done. So yeah, that's it from me. Hopefully you enjoyed the list. Hopefully this video comes out a little bit better than yesterday's one. I had a few lighting issues, but you know, I'm learning as I do this, so yeah, bear with me. Yeah, thanks for viewing.